Okay, we streaming? We live? Let's enable preview. Go over here. Okay, let me see if it's live on the YouTube end. If we're like live or like lagging a little bit. Okay, let me refresh real quick. Dude, why are you being like this? Why is my... I literally upgraded my Wi-Fi. Yeah, it says stop streaming and end broadcast, so it should be live. It should be live. I don't know why it's giving me an issue. Error, YouTube is not receiving enough video to retain a smooth stream. Well, we're literally hanging out inside. Like, we have 8,000. We only need 6,000 for it to work good. Holy cow. Okay, I think... next time I drive it. No, I have an idea. And we'll do this for a stream another time. But I'm streaming from my phone right here and stuff, and I think all my Wi-Fi is focused on my phone and not on my computer. I know it might sound silly when it's like my computer should be able to override my phone, but I don't know. We're live though. Hello, mic check. Oh shit, we're delayed. We're delayed a little bit. But we are live. So we'll just answer with shotgun. Okay, we are live. Okay. Alright, we're live. Alright. Okay. Hello, everybody. Sorry that took forever. Still working out the kinks. I mean, it has been... Throw away these freaking batteries. I don't need them. It has been like a month since we've done a live show for just the sports side of this YouTube channel. Hope you guys are doing good. We're back in action. The College Football Playoff Committee has officially released their 12-team playoff format. We have a little bit of NBA action tonight. We had some NHL action the other day that we're going to talk about, and then just a little bit of news in the NFL world, considering that yesterday was the trade deadline. And so let's just get into it. And the first thing that I want to cover and that we should talk about is, let's talk about the NBA and what's going on in the NBA landscape. Oh my hell, look at that. The Wi-Fi is back. Son of a bitch. Of course it's back. Sorry, let me, oh my hell. Hold on, you're coming with me. Yoink. Sorry, we're doing multi-stream sort of thing. And I might not ever do this again because this is so unprofessional. But we're doing some of the news out of the NBA this week. And what's been going on is there's no NBA action the other day due to the election. I already made a joke about that. If you want to see it, go back, watch a couple of the other streams and stuff. So nothing to say about that. But some news out of the NBA world is the Spurs, their center, Sochan, he's going to have surgery. He'll be out for a little bit. And then the Denver Nuggets power forward, Aaron Gordon, he is having issues with his calf. So there's a calf injury. He's going to be limited for about a week and a half. We'll just see. I mean, this is the NBA. You never know how it is. Some players are still sitting out. I mean, Paul George barely had his return from injury. The other day he scored, I think, 15 points, and then Who else? Not Joel Embiid. Even though we are going to talk about Joel Embiid because he's the other big thing. Come on, it's on the tip of my tongue. Why can't I think of it? Shit. Has Kawhi Leonard even made a comeback and debuted? Anyways, it doesn't matter. But and then the Cavs. I haven't looked at the NBA standings. I haven't been following along, but Cleveland's 8-0, and the Thunder are 7-1. So a lot of people are licking their chops, like, here we go. We're gonna have a Cavs Thunder NBA Finals. We're not, but very impressive that Cleveland's been able to start 8-0. I'm genuinely impressed by that, considering the fact that Donovan Mitchell kind of low key quit on his team last year. I know he was injured for one game, but then he decided to sit out Game 5, I think it was, and then the Celtics ended up beating him 4-1, and it's like, dude, come on, I don't know. I think right then and there, that's when he should have been traded and gotten out of town, but I don't know. It's the NBA. Who the hell knows? Some of the games today, there's the Heat versus Suns game, which I really wanted to go to that because in the spring and when it gets a little bit deeper into the NBA season, the tickets get a little bit more spendy. If you want to go catch a Laker game, you want to go catch a Warrior game here in Phoenix, there's no guarantee that all the star players are actually going to play, but some of those tickets are pretty hefty. I mean, we're looking at $200, $300. I was able to find some Miami Heat tickets, nosebleeds, let's be real here, for $40. And I'm kind of kicking myself that I'm not going tonight. But I think that would have been really fun. So yeah, there's that. So the Heat are playing the Suns tonight, and then the Warriors are playing the Celtics right now. Other big games tonight: Lakers versus Grizzlies, and then tonight, last game of the night, Thunder and the Nuggets. So out of the Heat and the Suns, just for fun, I'm gonna roll with the Heat. Out of the Warriors and Celtics, I'm gonna roll with the Celtics. Lakers at Grizzlies. Lakers are coming off of a loss against, who'd they lose to? Oh, the Pistons. They just lost to the Pistons. And so I think they'll come back with a bounce back. But then John Morant's starting hot. So we'll just see. I think that could be a close game. I'm probably leaning towards the Grizzlies. But Anthony Davis has been playing really good. So I don't know. I think that game will be closer than we think. Thunder at the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets hand the Thunder. Well, Gordon is out, but they still have the big and Joker to control the paint. Jeez, I don't know. I don't think I know. Hold on, let me do something here real quick. Let me pin something. Okay, but Thunder and Nuggets. I'm gonna roll with Thunder and Nuggets. Gosh, this is a simple one. This should be easy. Give me the Nuggets. Yeah. Give me the Nuggets at home. I know the Thunder are 7-1. They're the best team in the West right now. But yeah, give me the Nuggets. And then the last thing that a lot of people are talking about lately is what's going on with Joel Embiid and how there's a suspension because of how he put his hands on a reporter and there was a physical altercation. I want to know the context because we live in a media landscape where there's cameras everywhere. I want to see the physical altercation. I want to see what was said and the context of how it was said. From what I heard, watching Nightcap with Unk and Ocho, is they talked about how the reporter said, you want to leave a lasting legacy. You named your son after your brother, and that just sent Joel off the deep end got him, upset, which I understand. You don't talk about dead relatives. You don't disrespect people's families. Obviously, duh. As a reporter, you don't say stupid shit like that. But I want to know, in the context of how he said it, because, we have hot mics everywhere. We have cameras everywhere. And so I want to see if there's a video of the post-game reaction where he's sitting at his table, or maybe there's not, or he's at his locker and someone has a microphone. They're Embiid. I don't know. I want to see that because I mean, when you read the quote or something, like, it's like you got to read the body language. Could the reporter have said it facetiously? Maybe. And if that's the case, get him the hell out, because it's like, what a dick move. You know? But, I mean, if the reporter's asking a legit question, kind of like, let's look at, like, this will be a little rant. We'll talk about it, but, like, look at Trayvon Diggs and look at what happened between the reporter Diggs ran into that he talked about after the 49er game, where the reporter was legit in his questioning, like, hey, Diggs, where was your effort? And then he's like, hey, how about these nuts, or something stupid like that. When it's like, if you watch the play and how the play developed, that Cowboys defense, the secondary got scorched, and you could see him jogging on the play. And it's like the reporter was asking a legit question. You could tell it wasn't facetious. You could tell, like, he was asking kind of like a legit question. He wasn't poking or prodding. He's just kind of wondering, like, hey, dude, you're jogging on this particular play. And, Diggs loses his cool and he's, saying stuff and whatever. Do I know how much he was fined? No. But I want to see how it was worded and what was kind of like said, essentially, with the Joel Embiid situation. Because, I mean, Joel's I'd say he's a pretty level-headed guy. Why would you want to go out and attack a reporter? You know what I mean? Seems a little silly to me. But he's going to be suspended for 3 games, which is kind of funny because we've played 8 games in this season, and he hasn't suited up once. He's not ready to go. And I liked watching, what's his name? Commissioner. I liked watching Commissioner Dynamo's video about how it's like, he's not ready. So he's injured. Because, I mean, the Philly fans, they're not fooled. No one's falling for it. Like, he can't just say you're quote unquote not ready. Like, he's injured. He's injured. Just say he's injured straight up. And then there's the comments that everybody was freaking out about the back-to-backs, where he's like, I'm probably not going to play any back-to-backs for the rest of my career. And it's like, oh my gosh. Which, whatever, it is what it is. I think this might sound a little controversial. Stay with me here. But I think if you are in the NBA, no, hold on. Because you don't need to worry about players not playing back-to-backs in the NHL. Because the NHL, different ballgame. A totally different animal. But I think I like the rules on, if you want to win any awards, Defensive Player of the Year, Kia Most Valuable MVP, 6th Man of the Year, you have to play a percentage of games. I think in the contracts, because there's a lot of load management in the NBA, and we know this. I mean, look at LeBron, look at Kawhi, look at, the founding fathers of load management. Written in these contracts that we pay players for extensions and stuff, it's easy to look at, okay, like, you're getting paid $82 million a year. You play 82 games, you're being paid $1 million per game, essentially. There should be a percentage of, if you don't play this game, you're not going to receive this $1 million. You're not. I don't know, because I just think, like, when was the last time Ben Simmons stepped on the court and played? You know what I mean? When was the last time? Like, only time will tell before Harden gets injured or something stupid like this. Like, it's the same cycle every damn year. It's the same 7-8 players who get injured or something, and they just coast. They simply coast. Meanwhile, there's guys in the NFL who have broken fingers, tweaked ankles, sore hamstrings that are still playing 17 weeks. There's guys in the NHL that took a puck to the face the night before, and now they got to come back. They're like, it's just hell. Shohei Ohtani, he had surgery on his throwing arm. He's wearing a brace and he's standing out in that sumbitch in the batter's box, still swinging, hitting home runs. So, I mean, just the NBA is definitely a weird. To fix the NBA, I think they got to tackle a couple things, but they got to start somewhere, i.e., don't sit games. And if you do sit games, you'll be penalized. Just because, it seems silly. And all of this is a rant from saying, hey, Joel Embiid's going to sit for 3 games. He was already suspended. Yeah, he was going to sit because he's suspended 3 games. 76ers have been penalized, what was it, $100,000 or something like that. all this to say, all the money he's been penalized, all the games he's missed and stuff, and he hasn't even stepped foot on the court. Like it just seems silly. But I don't know. I don't know. Like if I was the commissioner, I would want to give the money incentives aside should be motivation enough, but I would try to find a way to want to get the players to play, if that makes sense. Because you look at it, there are some guys that do want to play. Like I guarantee there's guys in the G League, there's guys in college. Like look at some of the guys on Duke right now, Cooper Flagg. Look at Caleb Love for the Wildcats out of Arizona. Like there are guys who want to go to the league that would be like, oh, you want to sit out, Joel Embiid? See ya. I'll take your spot. So, anyways, that's neither here nor there. Do I think it was right for the NBA, Adam Silver, to suspend him? Yeah, you don't put your hands on a reporter. Do I think the reporter should take a leave of absence and also be kind of, because they're going to do an investigation, do I think the reporter should kind of be on thin ice? Absolutely also, because there's that thin line. It's like, are you being respectful in your questioning? Like, is it coming with true intent? Or are you being an asshole, being like, dude, I know you ain't shit. You named your son after... You see what I mean? Like, because there's always two sides to the story. Plus, could have caught him on a bad day. But again, you got to be a professional. I want to know how big this journalist is, because it's like, Joel Embiid's no slouch. I mean, this is a 250, 260-pound man. Could you imagine if he's pushing someone who's 5'4"? Or someone who's 130 pounds soaking wet, and he's just ramming them up into the locker. But it looks bad. It looks bad for the NBA. It looks bad for Joel because he hasn't even played a single game this year, and he's already caused a lot of stir up in the NBA landscape. But there's that. Let's move now and transition. No more NBA. Let's talk a little bit about the NHL. The perfect sport. Not teasing, but last night there was some action from the top games last night. There was the Penguins versus the Islanders. Penguins lost 3-4. I'll admit I watched just a slight tidbit of that game before I went before festivities started, with election night and stuff. And then Bruins got shut out by the Leafs 4-0, which I think is pretty funny because in the offseason, there's contract disputes with Swayman. How much are we going to pay him? Is he worth it to keep on? How's our money looking? And then he lets 4 go by. Or maybe Swayman didn't even play the other day. I got to fact check myself. Maybe he sat and it was Kopitar the other night. Anyways, regardless, Bruins look like a hot mess. Leafs coming out strong again, 4-0. The Kings beat the Wild 5-1. And then Utah lost to the Jets 3-0. And so Winnipeg keeps on winning. They're the top team in the West. They have the best record in the NHL. They are the number 1 team in the NHL right now when it comes to rankings, just because they got one loss. They lost to the Leafs last Tuesday. So, sorry, pardon me. And then tonight, for the NHL and some of the games, there's the Predators versus the Capitals. There's the Red Wings versus the Blackhawks, and then there is the Vegas Golden Knights against the Oilers. Connor Bedard, Connor McDavid. Yeah, that's his name. Sorry, I'm just thinking McJesus. Sorry, McDavid's going to come back. He was dealing with an injury, so he's going to make his his return against the Golden Knights. For the Preds versus the Capitals, because how Ovi and Washington's doing right now, being third in the Metro. No, third. Well, I think the top couple spots in the East all come from the Metro anyways. I'm going to roll with the Caps. Predators are starting out slower than usual. Wings versus Blackhawks, I'm going to take the Wings. And then for the Golden Knights versus the Oilers, I'm going to roll with Vegas. Which Vegas versus the Edmonton Oilers, that could be a preview for the NHL, Western Conference Final. So we'll just see. What time does that game start? That's only 6:47. That game's probably not going to start for another 2 hours. Sorry, people. I'm trying to kick this cold. I thought I kicked it. I have not. Okay. Let's now move and transition to college football because there has been some news in the college football world. The first news, let's actually talk about it. It comes out of USC. Miller Moss has been playing like cake lately, and so he's going to be benched. And backup's going to go in Moava. Hold on, let me see how you pronounce this. Maava. Sorry, I totally butchered that. Maava. He's going to get the keys to the car. Lincoln Riley, a lot of people were saying Lincoln Riley might be on hot. How this season has definitely been disappointing for the Trojans, but there's been a lot of upside and promise to it as well. I mean, USC started, 3-0? And then they lost a close one to Michigan. And then they lost a close one to the Gophers. And then they lost a last-second one to Penn State. All the losses that I've seen from USC this season, defense and offense, because clearly Moss is going to get benched. It's just interesting to see how far USC, kind of like the full cycle that they've gone on, considering how successful the Holiday Bowl was last year when they just dominated Louisville, to now where they're under 500. We got to bench our starting quarterback. Lincoln Riley's on the hot seat. We might get rid of him. They won't. Trust me, they won't. So, yeah. And then the 12-team playoff. I talked about this one a little bit the other day because right when I tuned in, like I wrote it down because, when I was watching the election, like the ESPN did have it going on at the time. So I will make a prediction video that looks a little bit more professional than this of me just rambling. But so we have Boise State against Ohio State, Indiana versus Penn State, Bama versus Texas, and then at the bottom of the bracket, Notre Dame versus Penn State at the 10 and 7 spot. The 4 seed who will take on the winner of Boise State versus Ohio State is BYU. The 1 seed who will take on the winner of Indiana and Tennessee, 8 or 9 seed. The number 1 seed is the Ducks. The 3 seed will take on Bama or Texas. That is Miami. They'll have the special honor. And then the number 2 seed goes to the Bulldogs, who will await the winner of Notre Dame versus Penn State. From the football that I have watched so far up until this point in the season, I know I haven't given a reaction video to the AP polls and the rankings in quite a while, and I haven't done my own personal top 25 just because it feels like I've been swamped, sick, lack of motivation, tired, like you name it. I can come up with every excuse in the book. I've still been watching football. Like, we've had hell of a game after hell of a game. But I think from the football that I have seen, I think Ashton Jeanty, unless Cam Ward starts to play like the hype was for him from weeks 1 to about 5, unless he doesn't play like that, Ashton Jeanty is going to win the Heisman. I don't think Travis Hunter is going to win it, just because I don't know. Not because Deion Sanders is the coach of Colorado. Not that bullshit, but just because, like, statistically, you can't deny that what Jeanty is doing is more valuable than Travis Hunter. Like, take Ashton Jeanty off Boise State. The Broncos are just another Mountain West team. I guarantee you, going into this season, nobody knew the name Ashton Jeanty. Unless you were a college football fiend where you are watching football inside and out, rosters. You've been following top 10 lists of the running backs coming into 2024, future NFL prospects. I didn't know who Ashton Jeanty was until this year. I'll be honest. Like, this handful of players that I knew coming into the season, like the 10 to 25, 50-ish players that I knew coming into the season, were like the quarterbacks, like Cam Ward, Quinn Ewers, Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart, Carson Beck, DJ Uiagalelei, Hayes King, like those kind of players, or Travis Hunter, Jalen Milroe. Who else is really good? Running back out of Georgia, ETN. Oh my gosh, there's so many. I'm blanking on it. You get what I mean. G&T wasn't there. He just wasn't. But that's not what this is about. This is about me giving a prediction on Boise State versus Ohio State. I said it in the stream the other day, and I'm going to double down on it. I don't think Boise State can go into Columbus, Ohio, because if I'm not mistaken, these first few games, like when you look at the bracket, the left side, the first week of games are at the home team. Like Ohio State, Tennessee, Texas, and Penn State, they're all hosting a home game, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think the Broncos can go into the shoe and pull off a miracle. Like, as kind of lazy and lackluster as Ohio State's offense has been ever since the Oregon game, Will Howard's still going to show up and throw for 175, 200, and a tutty. Okay. I don't think Boise State's defense is magically just going to shut down the freshman, shut down Judkins in the running game like Ohio State's offense. But what makes me nervous is, can Boise State's O-line stop the D-line for Ohio State? Because if you stop the offensive line, you stop the run game, guess what? Broncos aren't winning it. You stop the run game, Boise State's nothing. And so I do think Ohio State will go on and play BYU. Out of Indiana and Tennessee, unless Tennessee turns it around and starts to play like how they were at the beginning of the season, where they're blowing out Ball State, where they're blowing out NC State. If the Tennessee that played Bama shows up, or if come on, it's on the top of my tongue. Who did they barely beat a couple of weeks ago? Oh my gosh, I've watched way too much college football. Anyways, like if the Tennessee who has been playing like the last 2-3, South Carolina, no. Arkansas, they got upset by Arkansas. Like if that Tennessee shows up against Indiana's putting 40 on them, 50 on them, and the Hoosiers are going to move on and play the Ducks. But right now, as it sits, I'm actually going to lean towards Indiana, and the Hoosiers moving on to play the Ducks. And then out of Bama, Texas, again, it's a weird. Who's going to show up in this game? Is it going to be the Quinn Ewers that went into the big house and beat Michigan? Or is it going to be the Quinn Ewers that showed up against Georgia, where we're frustrated, flustered, we can't get the ball downfield, our offense sucks. Look at that, it's 15-0, and we're stinking. And we have to have fans throw, beer on the field to get a call. Bama, Texas, though, would feed families. Like, that's going to be a good matchup. I would have to lean, just because Kalen DeBoer has lost a couple games where it's like, you shouldn't be losing this game. Like, Vandy is Vandy. Tennessee, you shouldn't be losing to Tennessee. South Carolina, you shouldn't be pulling away in the fourth quarter against South Carolina. I would lean towards Texas taking that one. But out of all the teams that are playing, the winner of Texas-Bama, they'll be the most ready going forward, because Miami, dude, look at, will Miami be? We never know. But then Notre Dame and Penn State, I think Notre Dame would take that. I mean, Penn State's just kind of been. They deserve to be in the college football playoff. They deserve to be in the top 10 because, I mean, they only have one loss. But lackluster. Like, they've just kind of been moping around. Like, their offense, I know they just fired their... No. A lot of people are calling for them to fire their offensive coordinator. You fire an offensive... Oh, you're from Indiana? That's sick. But you don't... Like, just because you fire your offensive coordinator, that doesn't make your quarterback just that much better. You know what I mean? Is the play calling terrible? Probably. Yeah, most likely. But Drew Aller is not... Penn State wants Drew Aller to be like how Trace McSorley was back in the day, and he's not. Like, just simply put, he's not. Like, Penn State escaped a win against USC. Penn State couldn't get their offense going in the second half against Ohio State. Like, this team's kind of been a dud, but they have found ways through special teams, defense. They've just found different, other unique ways to win football games, and so that's why they're still undefeated. And that's why I would say, okay, yeah, they deserve to be there, but I don't think they'll sit and hang around for long. Like I think Notre Dame would win this, but it doesn't matter who wins out of this one because they got to go play Georgia, and guess what? Georgia's probably going to go play in the national championship, even though they might suck and they might also be pretty lackluster, just depending on the week and who they're playing. Because we've seen the highs of Carson Beck, we've seen the lows of Carson Beck. You know what I mean. So yeah. So and then Ohio State against BYU. I'd have to roll with the Buckeyes. I mean, I've watched the Cougars many times. I'm from Utah. Like growing up, it's like, hey, are you a Cougar fan or are you a Utes fan? It's like neither. They both suck ass. At least that was what it was for me when I was growing up. Like the best team when I was growing up was Alabama and Notre Dame. So who were my two favorite teams growing up? Alabama and Notre Dame. So I think the Buckeyes, because the BYU Ohio State, that's going to be a neutral site game. It's not going to be at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. It's not going to be a night game on a Friday or something where the magic of Provo, there's a Provo victim. No. This is going to be a neutral site game. Considering it's Ohio State and BYU, I would say region-wise, it'd probably be the Fiesta Bowl. Like that game would probably come over here to Arizona and be played at Cardinal Stadium. But I'd take the Buckeyes in that one. And then out of Indiana and the Ducks, like this might be a rematch, considering that this might be what the Big Ten championship game is between the Hoosiers and the Ducks. I don't know. We'll just have to see because I want to see how these two teams play each other the first time. No, they don't play each other this year. Never mind. But like they'll probably play each other in the Big Ten championship, and it's like you got them once. Can you get them again? I'd roll with the Ducks. Even though Indiana is a scary dark horse team right now. They're kind of like Miami, but Miami's just a little bit better. Like, I don't know. I think Indiana like has a team, like they win together as a team. I know that sounds like super cliche and dorky, but Miami just has guys where it's like they have elite NFL level guys versus like the rest of the team. We'll just see. I don't know. Okay. And then Alabama and Texas. I'm going to roll with Texas. Texas and Miami, two potential future NFL quarterbacks going at it head to head. I'd roll. Shit, I want to say Texas. Because there's a part of me that thinks Miami's a little bit overrated, but they're not. That's the thing. They're not overrated. Like, Miami is so damn good. But to me, it doesn't matter who wins out of this Miami-Texas game, though, because they're going to lose to Georgia. They're going to lose to Georgia, and then Ohio State and Oregon, they're going to have a rematch in the semifinal. And then I think it's going to go the Ducks' way again. And then we might... I know it seems a little unoriginal to have, you have a 1 and a 2 seed playing in the national championship. But, no, there's context to this. There's context to this of, Miami and Texas just played one of the greatest college football games ever. An instant classic. That was a fun shootout, 42-45, And then Miami won on a last-second field goal, but then Miami had to go play Georgia, and Cam Ward couldn't get it done against the Georgia defense. And so Georgia's just kind of waltzing their way to the national championship against the Ducks. So, we'll just see. We will just see. So that'd be my take. I'm going to do a video on that later. Make it look fancy, make it look a little bit prettier on my prediction for the top 12. We'll definitely be doing that one tomorrow because I have no time to edit and make one tonight. At least what tonight's edits are going to be is copy, paste throughout the whole thing. Okay, let's talk about now. Let's transition to the NFL because there were a lot of NFL trades the other day because it was the NFL trade deadline. There are a lot of buyers and there were a lot of sellers. And I think the team right now, I'm just going to come out and say it, I think the team that won the trade deadline, Steelers. Why? Because they got 2 for 1. If that makes sense. Like you could look and say, no, the Lions won, or oh no, Washington won. considering who they got. The Steelers got a pretty decent, defensive tackle, defensive end, outside linebacker, and Preston Smith, but they also got a receiver for Russ and Mike Williams. So I think the Steelers won the trade deadline. So yeah, Preston Smith's going to the Steelers. He's no longer a Packer, which kind of sucks because, I was talking about it the other day, literally talking about Zadarius Smith. That 21 squad, that 2020 squad, the Packers defense was pretty stinking good, and it was fun to watch. Big old number 91 on the D-line. So he's going to go to the Steel City. I think he'll fit right in. He's an unsung, I think he's top 15 probably in the league, defensive lineman. Because is he better than Myles Garrett? No. Is he better than Max Crosby? No. Micah Parsons? No. He's not up there, but he's a piece. He's like a Grady Jarrett. He's like a that's forever ago, but B.J. Raji, or he's a Harrison Phillips for the Vikings. He's a piece that can help a defense. He's not going to sell out stadiums, but he's a piece that can contribute to the defense. And I think the Steelers defense is good. They've kept the Steelers in it year after year after year with mediocre offensive play. So great pickup for the Steelers. I'm a little kind of salty that he left the Packers, because the Packers have been slowly imploding but also rebuilding at the same time. It's weird. The Packers are such a weird team. And then Zadarius Smith going to the Lions. Great pickup considering the Hutchinson injury. Do I think the productivity value will be the same? Probably not. I would say Hutchinson's probably a little bit more productive than Smith, but jumping from the Browns defense to the Lions defense, that's one good defense to the next. The Lions are contenders, and I think bringing him on, they still stay contenders, because they're not going to fill the void of Aiden Hutchinson, but it's definitely going to help out that defense. Defense didn't skip a beat against the Packers. Defense didn't skip a beat against the Cowboys. This team's pretty dangerous. We already know about Devontae Adams going to the Jets, Amari Cooper going to the Bills, D-Hop, going to the Chiefs, and I think Hopkins had 2 touchdowns the other day against the Bucks. So I think it's cool. I think the Chiefs picking up a wide receiver, it is what it is. I think it's funny how the media has been like, oh, Mahomes needed weapons, or oh, Mahomes needs help, when it's there's other wide receivers in the world than who they got, Xavier Worthy's good. I know Rashee Rice got injured. Travis Kelce's getting paid tight end money, but we know he's a receiver. Valdez-Scantling was decent. I still remember Valdez-Scantling tearing it up for Aaron Rodgers. So how people are like, oh, he's a second, he's not a go-to guy. He's a second option, third option guy. I still think he's a pretty decent dude. Then Marshawn Lattimore going to Washington. That was the one that probably surprised me the most, because considering how good him and Kamara were their rookie years back in 2017 for the Saints, and how I don't know, I'm not the biggest Saints fan, but just he was no slouch. He was good. The Pro Bowls that he's been to. I think Washington should be careful with what they're doing, trying to go chips all in on the table right now. Because if we look and we saw what happened to the Rams when they went all in, yes, they won the Super Bowl, but look at what they've done since. It hasn't been as productive. Cooper Kupp, oh my gosh. Did Cooper Kupp go anywhere? I want to see. Hold on, let me double check if Cooper Kupp went somewhere. Because I remember a lot of people talking about Cooper Kupp. And there's trade rumors. I want to see if he got traded. Cooper Kupp. Cooper. Not Cooper Koch. NFL Insider confirms Cooper Kupp's impending trade fate before deadline, posted November 4th. Well, current team is he on now? I mean, Rams are sitting at 4-4. So he never moved. Trade news. Hold on, let me see trade news. Is Cooper Kupp traded? Rams unlikely to trade Cooper Kupp. Yeah, no, I didn't think he was going to go anywhere. He's your Super Bowl MVP. Like, you got to keep him around for at least another year or two so Nacua can learn. Like, pass it down. You pass it down. Like, veterans in the locker room are so unappreciated now, and it's such like a, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm thinking about, was it Romeo Doubs? I remember reading a report like 2 or 3 weeks ago, like Romeo Doubs skipped on practice because he didn't feel like he was getting enough touches. He didn't feel like he was getting the ball enough from Jordan Love or something in a Packer game. And I just looked at that and I was like, are you shitting me? Like, what a freaking prima donna. Because it's like veteran presence in the locker room cleans that shit up. Where it's like, do you think Randall Cobb would let that slide? Do you think Devontae Adams would let that slide? Jordy Nelson, Donald Driver, Greg Jennings. Like, if you're being a prima donna and you're complaining about targets, to get more targets, show up to practice. But, like, the veteran presence, like a 2-3 year guy versus a guy that's been there 9 years, 10 years, he's not going to let that slide. He's going to be like, no, dude, get your ass to practice. You see what I mean? Like, you're being selfish. You're putting yourself first. Put the team first. I don't know. And I think a lot of locker rooms are missing that, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. I think if there was a veteran wide receiver leader in that locker room, that wouldn't have happened for the Packers. I know that's a little small tangent, little story that developed that I don't know if it's developed any further. But, I mean, like, you look at, Keenan Allen on the Bears right now, Tyreek Hill on the Dolphins, or some other big, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, you look at some of these guys. I know Amon-Ra hasn't been in the league as long as Tyreek or Kelsey or some of these other receivers, but it's like you look at guys like that, it's like if the second or third string receiver option wants to skip out, you know they're going to be right there at their locker going, what are you doing? Why? You kidding me? You shitting me? We're trying to run this thing down. We're trying to get a Lombardi and you're over. I don't know. Like, the team. I don't know. Anyways, Marshawn Lattimore. Did talk about Mike Williams going to the Steelers. Tre'Davious White improving the Ravens defense. And then lastly, Cam Akers. He was on the Texans. He must have been cut. I don't know why. But he's on the Vikings right now. So those are some of the NFL trades that happened today. That's all I have to say for the stream, guys. I know this one was a little bit thicker. This is a 40-minute one. But I hope you guys enjoyed what you watched. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button, hit that sub button. It helps me tremendously. We're trying to reach 500 subscribers. We're about 30 away, and a couple thousand watch hours from reaching our goals, trying to get monetized. Because what I want to do, because as you can see, we're doing we got to do a vertical stream. I think once we get monetized, I can do horizontal streams, make it look a little bit more professional. But sorry if it was laggy. We're going to try to fix that. But hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I'm going to end it. See if I can turn on a hockey game, watch a little bit of hockey. We might do a stream later tonight, but it might be late. And but yeah, I gotta go run and do a couple things. Gotta eat because my belly's hungry and I need to be full. Let's check in on. Let's not check in on the Celtics game. against the Warriors. We'll check in that later. But I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.